Day 13, RFS Fluidlinks Advent Calendar. Today's question. I see now. It's from Gavin Hain. His Twitter handle is KidFlash68, but the S is a 5. That's what threw me off. I was like, KidFla 5 hours 68, but it's Flash. The question is, what are the best and worst things that have happened to you because of Doctor Who fandom?
Well, I think you and I, Stephen, have the same answer for the best side.
Yeah, Gallifrey. Oh, right, yes. Nah, I'm kidding, of course.
Ouch. Don't let your wife hear that. Or mine.
Yeah.
Worst. Man, I don't know.
I can answer.
Yeah,
the
go
worst
for it.
one.
Yeah, worst.
That's probably the same for all three of us to varying degrees.
Oh.
I got made fun of mercilessly. It's like, to add to all the other make fun of this kid on the fire fuel that was already readily available. This was like, you know what I need to do? Pour a pile of gasoline on my social life, such as it is. But the flip side of that is that because of this show, the best thing that ever happened to me, which is that I have friends all over the world who I visit regularly, is exactly what happened because of this television program. So it balanced out. There's balance to the force. Thanks, Seattle.
So when you got like when you're talking about people like picking on you and making fun of your social life, you talking about that like now, like this week, or is that like
no?
Oh.
I'm sure it still happens.
Like it's a youth,
I'm
or
sure
what?
it does. Yes, people make fun of a 47-year-old man about him liking Doctor Who. If they do, I don't care.
Well,
but when I was 12, I kind of did. So,
okay.
And back in Alberta, when you're 12, when you're watching PBS and you're watching a show that nobody's ever heard of, and people tell you, and I quote, "I don't understand the accents." This country was birthed from that one. How can you be this stupid? But
I hid my passion back then. Let me tell you,
I did not, and it did not do me any favors. But I stuck to it by the Jeebus, and then because of that, or just coincidentally, 30 years later, I've got friends all over the world, and this show has done nothing but good for me in a multitude of different ways, and including this very podcast we speak of.
I don't really remember having that negative of a childhood from being a Doctor Who fan. Kind of like Steven, I didn't really know that many people who were into it until 12 when I joined 10-0. I mean, I knew you, Warren,
Yes.
from before
I'm
that.
sorry.
But until I joined 10-0, the local Doctor Who club, I didn't really know that many people because, like, my dad watched it, and I watched it because my dad watched it. So that's how I got into it. And when I joined 10-0, I've got friends who I've had for 30 years because of the Edmonton Doctor Who club, over 30 years now. So which is great, but I didn't really have any playground scuffles because of.
Oh, this was just one ingredient in the gumbo that was my miserable teenhood.
Wow.
So
we're uncovering a lot here.
I'm not blaming Doctor Who for it. Obviously, clearly, I stuck with it anyway. So,
Yeah.
But if you want to go for the worst thing, that would be it.
Where would this podcast rank in the scale? Where would it be? Would it be close to the best or the worst? Where would that be?
Close to the best because the podcast led to the best.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be up there pretty high.
It's been a conduit.
But there's a lot of stuff that would also be, comparably that high. That is all direct or indirect results of this, such as, how many years now being the first thing on stage at Gallifrey 1, how many, fans and doctors and writers and directors and whatever we've met over the years through Galley or other stuff.
Right.
Our respective spouses, as mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, the one. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Here we go.
This podcast is tops.
Oh man, that's
So you guys don't have a worst?
I think the worst thing was probably comparable to Steven, and so I mean, just not having that many people to talk to. Nah, I had some people in like junior high that I'd talked to Doctor Who.
I just still hid away from people. Hid in my little hidey hole every Saturday night watching Doctor Who and not talking to. Apart from
Whereas I showed Who pride to my detriment.
Oh, I never did.
I thought of a worse thing.
Okay.
The worst thing about being a lifelong Doctor Who fan was, and this is Warren's fault. Just to point fingers.
Always is.
Yeah, well, I'm used to it, as seen from my previous illustration.
Was finding out about missing Doctor Who episodes.
I was going to go there.
And knowing that, or learning the hard way that, because I've told the story before. I was in the kitchen of Warren's childhood home, where I first learned that, because whatever story had, the next thing that I thought KSPS was going to broadcast was the Mythmakers, only to be told, nope, doesn't exist, and you'll never ever see it.
Yeah, everyone has to. I know what you mean. I was thinking that, like, the innocence of not knowing about missing Doctor Who was kind of like a blissfully ignorant thing. And it was this wonder of like, ooh, look at all these episodes I have yet to see. And I saw, like, sketchings of them in the Doctor Who encyclopedia. I wonder what they actually look like. And then I will never know. And I kind of miss that innocence of those days. So,
and the best you can hope for is one of the 6 titles from Target that have illustrations.
Yeah, those are the best ones. The Target novelizations that's my best thing. Target novelizations with drawings, the books that are written especially for me.